Hello everyone, welcome to English World. Today in this video, you're gonna learn distributive pronoun. Some rule of distributive pronoun. I have created one more video on distributive pronoun and I uploaded that. Go and watch and learn what is distributive pronoun in a full detail. But here in this video, I'm gonna discuss about some rules of distributive pronoun. So here, watch the video up to the very end. Don't miss the end and never forget to hit the like button. Now let's come to the topic. So the first question is that what is distributive pronoun? And you can understand the definition, the meaning, the whole topic distributive pronoun from its word, from its name, like distributive pronoun, basically which is used as distribution. Okay, distribution. Okay, here understand the definition of distributive pronouns. The pronoun which is used as distribution of a noun is called distributive pronoun. Listen again and listen carefully. The pronoun which is used as distribution of a noun. Okay, so that is called distributive pronoun. I told you that to distribute nouns used in a sentence. Basically, the pronoun which is used as distribution of a noun, which is distributing nouns, like the distribution of sweets, the distribution of books, the distribution of money, yeah, anything you can say. So the pronoun which is used as distribution of a noun, and noun can be anything around you, that is simply distributive pronoun. So you can distribute anything around you. Okay, so basically here the pronoun which is used as distribution of a noun in a sentence, in your conversation, in your real world, that is basically distributive pronoun. And now let's see here the example of distributive pronoun: each, either, neither, any, anyone, none, everyone, both, etc. Okay, each, either, neither, any, anyone, none, everyone, both, etc. So these all words are distributive pronoun which is used as distribution of a noun, is called distributive pronoun. And you know well that everything which has a specific name is called noun. All the naming words in this world are noun. So that here distributive pronoun can distribute every noun, okay, which is used as distribution of noun, is called distributive pronoun. And now let's come to the first rule. And what is the first rule here? See, plural noun or plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of, and this is the first rule. Okay, the use of distributive pronoun in a sentence, and this is based on the first rule: each of, either of, neither of. So how you can use distributive pronoun in a sentence: each of, either of, neither of. I have told you everything about distributive pronoun in previous video, its use and its meaning in a sentence and everything. Go and watch that video and learn complete distributive pronoun. But here in this video you're gonna learn few rules related to distributive pronoun, and that is most important. So here see, first rule I told you, plural noun or plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of. Now understand the first rule through some example. Now you'll see. Rule first, okay? Each of, I told you that one. Each of, either of, neither of. Plural noun or plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of. And keep in mind here, this is each of and each of. So I have written only two example, but you can understand with every distributive pronoun. I have written only the example with each of, but you can understand and you can put either of, neither of on the place of each of. It's on you. Create more sentences using one sentence, using one distributive pronoun. So here first rule I told you, plural noun and plural pronoun. Listen carefully my dear students. Plural noun and plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of. And this is your each of, either of, neither of. You have to use distributive pronoun each of, either of, neither of here, okay, as a subject, and here after that, each of, either of, neither of, only plural pronoun is used. You can see first sentence. Each of the boy has a notebook. Each of the boy has a notebook. What is the meaning of this sentence? Each of the boy. I'm talking about everyone present in a room, present in a classroom, present in a school. So each is basically used to describe every. Each means every. And you see, each of the boy has a notebook. Each of, just I told you, plural noun and plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of. And here, this is your noun after each of, either of. This is your noun. And basically, see here, in first rule, I told you only plural noun and plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of. But here in the first sentence, singular noun is used. So that's why the first sentence is wrong. Each of the boy has a notebook. Why first sentence is wrong? Because I have used singular noun after each of, either of. Second example, each of the boys has a notebook. Each of the boys has a notebook. Each of the boys has a notebook. Plural noun, plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, neither of. This is your first rule. Now let's move to the second rule. And what is second rule here? See, and you can understand better through some example the second rule here. Each of the boys has their own book, and you can understand also in this example here. This is your second rule. Now I'm talking about the second rule. Okay, article the is used after each of, either of, neither of, and before the noun in a sentence. Article the is used after every distributive pronoun like each of, either of, neither of, and before nouns in a sentence. Again, understand better. Article the is used after all and every distributive pronoun like each of, either of, neither of, and before noun that I told you only plural noun and pronoun should be used after each of, either of, and neither of. And this is the second rule. Article the is used after each of, either of, neither of, and before plural noun in a sentence. Here see, each of the boy. Here, each of the boys has a notebook. Basically, the article the is used after each of, either of, neither of, and before nouns. Article the, this is your second rule. Article the is used after each of, either of, neither of, and before the noun was. This is your second rule. And here, and more thing here in second rule, understand singular pronoun and singular verb. Singular pronoun and singular verb is used with each, either, neither, and any singular noun. Again, understand here, and here I'm talking about the second rule. Article the is used after each of, either of, neither of, and before the noun, the plural noun that is used after each of, either of, and neither of. And the second here, the second case in second rule is here singular pronoun and singular verb is used with each, either, neither, and any singular noun. Here see, and I told you second rule, each of the boys has their own book. Each of the boys has their own book, and you can understand here the basically article the is used after each of, either of, neither of, and before plural nouns or any nouns in a sentence. So the first sentence and the first example follow the first rule, first case, and that second rule. Okay, follow the second rule. And the second, boys has their own book, but I made a mistake, used plural pronoun, and just I told you in second rule only singular pronoun and singular verb is used with each, either, neither, or any singular noun. So each of the boys has his own book. Here I have used plural pronoun, so that's why first example is wrong. And now let's move to the second one. Here each of the boys has his own book. Here each of, article the is used after each of and before the noun. Okay, and now here see boys has his. Here singular pronoun is used with each of, either of, neither of. No, each, either, neither. Okay, and so that's why the second is right one. I told you everything about that one, and this is the right sentence. And next one, each boy is doing his work properly. Each boy is doing his work properly. And here see, each boy is doing his work properly, and that I was talking about here. Singular pronoun and singular verb is used with what, each, either, and neither, only singular. And you can see here each boy is doing his work himself. This is your distributive pronoun, this is your distributive pronoun. And here after that and with each, either, and neither, only singular noun, singular pronoun, and singular verb is used. So that's why this is the right sentence. Each, your distributive pronoun, each of the girls. Here see, and this sentence is following the first rule. Okay, plural noun and plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, and neither of. Won a prize, either of, and neither of. Either of you can stay, neither of these two girls is active. And second here, plural noun and plural pronoun is used after each of, either of, and neither of. And here see, plural pronoun is used and plural noun is used. So now let's move to the third rule. And now let's see the third most important rule of distributive pronoun. Here see, this is your third rule, and in third rule you will learn here if each is used for subject. Basically each is also a distributive pronoun, but here in third rule it is based on each, that distributive pronoun. If each is used for subject, then it should be only used just after the subject and before the auxiliary verbs. Listen again. If each is used for subject, if each is used for subject, then it is used after the subject and before the auxiliary verbs. This is your third rule. And in this type of sentences, verb is always used according to subject. Okay, keep in mind and don't forget that one. And listen again the third rule. If the distributive pronoun each is used for subject, then it is used just after the subject and before the auxiliary verbs. And this is your third rule. And understand third rule through example. We have we have each advised him to give up smoking. Focus on first example. We have each. I'm talking about this distributive pronoun each. And the third rule is based on the distributive pronoun each. If this each is used for subject, okay, if this distributive pronoun each, if this each is used for subject, then it should be just after the subject and before the auxiliary verbs. And this is your third rule. But here the each is used just after the verb and just after, it is not used just after the subject. So that's why the first example is wrong. Okay, and listen again my dear students here. Okay, listen again here. If each is used for subject, then it should be just after the subject and before any auxiliary verbs. But in the first example, it is used after subject and after verbs. So that's why the first sentence is wrong. Now focus on second example. We each have advised him to give up smoking. We each have advised him to give up smoking. In the second example, the distributive pronoun each. The distributive pronoun, okay, distributive pronoun each is used just after the subject and before the auxiliary verb, before any verb. Okay, here focus. If each is used for subject, then it should be just after the subject and before the auxiliary verb. And I think, yes, I don't think this is the right sentence because it is just used each, because each is just used after the subject and before the verb. Okay, so this sentence is right. And in this type of sentences, okay, verb is always used according to subject, keep in mind. And now let's learn fourth rule. Basically fourth rule of distributive pronoun is based on both. Both, both. Both is also a distributive pronoun and we will learn the use of both. Basically here see, both is only used for two persons or things. Only two person or things, not more than two, not less than two. Okay, both is used only for two persons or things. Both is only used for two person or thing, and its meaning is also both. That means two, related to two. Here, all of the two students are guilty. All of the two students are guilty. All of, here, you know one thing, this is your distributive pronoun and all of the two. If I am discussing about all, then why I have used two? So that's why the sentence is wrong. Two should not be used with all. distributive pronoun because all of I'm talking about plural things, not two. So that's why the first example is wrong. And second one, both of the two. Both of the two, just I told you, both is only used for two persons here things. And here, both is used for two students. So that's why this sentence is right. Both of them are not guilty. One more thing here, understand. Yes, both. Both is not used for negative sentence. Both is not used for and used in negative sentence. And for negative sentence, we use neither. Either, basically, either is not used for negative but used for both. For negative sentences, we use neither. Neither. Okay? Both of them are not going. Wrong sentence. Don't use both for negative sentence. Like, don't use both for negative sentence. Use neither. Neither of them is going. I told you everything about distributive pronoun. All the rules I discussed in this video. But if you still have any doubt related to this video, related to any my videos, comment down below, message me. And for English conversation, talk to me, message me. Anything, if you want to learn cricket commentary, English language, motivation, anything you can learn here. And bye bye.